I have a little bit of time today, like 2 hours before I have to go pick up the kid from daycare. And I figure I can get this pipe sort of starting to get unwound and drag it up the hill. Yeah, so let's see what happens. All right, let's recap. I have 500 feet of 1.5 rated at 100 psi, and then I have 300 feet of 1.5 rated at 125 psi. Now, originally my dad and I were gonna maybe build some sort of uncoiling, unspooling thing on the trailer, and that would require 2 people, one to keep it from getting tangled at the bottom and one to pull it up the hill. But I figure we'll just do it in the lawn here on a sunny day. And do it slowly enough that it won't kink. If you unspool it too quickly, it'll kink. And then I have the open ends tied to just a little tree here, and then I'm gonna do a loop out there and then back up, so that should be about 200 feet. So I'll pull it up 200 feet at a time, at least for the first 500 feet. And then when I'm pulling the long one up the steep part, it'll all be already up the hill. And then I'll be pulling it with this rope here, just by hand for most of the way. Except for the steep part, I have a little trick up my sleeve. We'll see how that works. Normally these are banded incrementally. Oh, they are. Okay. I just couldn't see it, it's behind. So if you undo the outside loop here, it's not all gonna unspool. It'll just be the outside half in this case. I'm also doing this on a sunny, warmish day, which helps the pipe be a little bit more flexible. The 500-foot spool, it was intermediately taped, so about 250 feet is rolled out now. The 300-foot spool that I have here was not intermediately taped. So while there's less pipe, it's also 125 psi pipe. It's got a thicker, less flexible wall. They drive past all the time. This 125 psi pipe goes through this pipe that I installed beside the culvert, so I don't have to run anything through the culvert. Yeah, I saw that coming. The ridges here are catching on the pipe that I put in a specific orientation, so if water got in it, it wouldn't want to seep out and erode around. So I just have to nip off the corners here so it's not a sharp edge. This should pull through just fine. It's not too hard to fight with. It's manageable. Yep, there we go. And we're through. Join up my rope and we will continue on. So many bugs. That's not good. Look at that. I think this is a lot more difficult because it's not a straight pull, because down at the end it does a loop on the grass, and that probably adds a lot of friction. Not to mention the pipe is being pulled uphill and it's like 100 pounds of pipe. So it's now 10 days later, and I have a bunch of stuff rigged up to go up the hill. Yes, I used rig in a pun intended mode. I have this sky winch thing here, link in the description, but if you want, it's actually cheaper if you look around other places. I think I got this from Walmart. Anyways, this sky winch can do up to 350 pounds. That might be enough to pull up the pipe. I might overload it. I have modified its mount a little bit. You see it here. This is so that I can attach it to a tree and still have room to crank the handle on the side. So this handle would go here. But that's not my intention. As you can see, you know, in the background here, I have my drill. It's a Makita XPH07. If I find a link, I'll put it in the description too. It's rated for 1,090 inch-pounds of torque. And the radius of this is around 1 1/8 inches to the center of the rope. And what it is, I guess I should say what it is. It's a rope winch that you can do winching as long as a rope as you have. So here I have 200 feet of, I don't know what this is, maybe 1/2 inch or a little bit heavier than a 1/2 inch rope. Even though this is rated for 1/2 inch. I did try it out, it does work on this rope. So I'm not worried about that. So you can winch basically as long as you have the rope. This is a lot better than a cable puller that can only do like 20 or 30 feet. It's a lot better than Warren drill winch, which can do I think 50 feet, which is limited to the amount of wire it has on it. So this is essentially unlimited. And this drill here, hooked up to this 3/4 inch nut here, and 1 1/8 inch radius to the center of the rope. This drill in low can do approximately 860 pounds of pulling force generated through this. So I'll have to go a little bit easy on it as to not break it. And I do have this handle on here. This is necessary when you're counteracting that much force, because if it binds up, it'll just rip the drill right out of your hand. And I don't want to break my wrist. It's a wrist breaker. And then I have 2 batteries, 2 bottles, 2 ropes. The extra rope there is just you know, rig it. Well, we'll see. And then this is sized so that it fits in my backpack. I also grabbed 2 come-alongs, and that'll be to attach it to a tree. All right, I have it set up. My dad lied. I think this is like 150 or 100 feet, not 200 feet. So it's going to be, how many pulls? 5 pulls, minimum. So I'm going to do this one first, and then probably a few others, and then I'll meet you at the top later. So let's see how this works. I know this requires a little bit of tensioning. Get it kind of started here. It's not quite lined up, but it is secure. So, all right, let's put this in, yep, drill mode. Go in the right direction. In low. Let's try it in high gear. Nope, doesn't like that. Low gear it is. There we go. Man, that was a lot easier than trying to drag it up. I didn't show you guys, and they might have faded, but I have bruises on my shoulders from pulling this up the first time. And remember, this is 500 feet of pipe going up. I don't know, it's not that steep yet, but it's gonna get steeper. This is the final pool. I've done 5 total pools so far, so this will be number 6. And it's been working out okay. I got really lucky here. This rock is in just the right spot. There's no other trees up there because there's power lines. So I ratchet strapped my mount to the rock here, and it's fairly stable. 2 pulls ago, when I released the rope, the pipe wanted to very slowly slide back. So I had to stack some rocks in the pipe to hold it in place. And then in the last pull, I pulled through those rocks. Seemed to work okay. Enough chit chat. Ta-da! There it is. This is 500 feet of pipe. Put up the hill. I think it's, I don't know, 35 degrees maybe. So now let's see if there's tension on it, if it wants to roll back. It does not. So that's good news. I am, as I go back down, I'm going to stack rocks on it as I go. And that'll help hold it in place. But I think that's enough for this video. And I'll be connecting this pipe up and then doing some more work with this next time. So I messed up somewhere. I don't know where. Here's the end of my 500 foot section, 100 psi. So I'm now 500 feet below the spring across the ground. And then my other pipe is down there somewhere. So I'm off by enough that I can't make it up. I need to get some more pipe. So there's the end of my bottom pipe. And the end of my top pipe is, let's see, I don't know if you can see it. Right there. So I have to get some more pipe. This will affect my calculations, unfortunately. Guys, you're not going to believe this. I'm an idiot. So I'm down here at the bottom. You can see there's some pipe remaining. And the pipe at the bottom should be 125 psi. So, what do we have here? Let me turn that around for you. I'm an idiot. Last time I was pulling up pipe a few days ago, I pulled up both pipes and I left them up there, and they were both, the ends were close together, and I had pulled one further up, and I thought the one I pulled further up was the one that had to keep going, but I was wrong. So now I have the wrong pipe at the bottom and the wrong pipe at the top. So I guess tomorrow I'm going to fix that, but I'm not going to videotape any of it. Not that I use tape anymore, but yeah. So you guys know the deal. I'll fix this. It's the next day. I'm walking up here to fix my mess up here. And look what I found. Bear poop. Penstock bear poop. So I don't remember if that was there yesterday. Probably. I just didn't see it. Alright, I've pulled the 500 foot one all the way to the top, as it should be. So now I have this 300 foot one that's rated for higher pressure, that's unsecured, and going up there. I'm going to give it a small pull. I'm pulling it now. I just hope it doesn't all continue to come down. I'm pulling with, like, I don't know, it's pretty steep. Maybe 5 pounds of force. And I hope it doesn't want to run away on me. It seems to be controlled. So I'm just going to go slow. And now I'm kind of resisting its travel down the hill. I think this will work if I just guide it down slowly. So I might have been able to actually unspool the thing at the top and slowly guide it down like this. And I could have gotten it up there. The neighbor rides his four-wheeler up there all the time now because he's working on his mountain bike course. I saw him yesterday up there, actually. So I could have maybe asked him to use that to get it up the hill. And then guide it down the hill, but you know, I didn't know what this was going to be like. And so far it seems to be working okay. And now I'm Now I'm resisting its travel down the hill. Well, I'll meet you at the bottom. This looks like it's working. And ta-da! It's all down here. The whole time I was barely pulling it. Well, sometimes resisting its travel down the hill, but that was pretty easy. The unfortunate thing was that I screwed up and I pulled this all the way up the hill, so I then had to guide it back down the hill. Whatever. It's all fixed now. All before noon the next day. Now I have to dig this out and find where the culvert is so that I can determine a low height. I want to put the turbine pit as low as possible to get the most power possible. So that means finding the culvert, which is somewhere under this brush pile. I realized that my explanations were insufficient to really explain what was going on here. So say this paper here represents the entire scheme that I'm working on. And we have at the bottom thicker wall pipe for higher pressure, and at the top thinner wall pipe for lower pressure. So at the beginning we start them all down here, coiled up. And what I did is I pulled these up a little bit, and then I had to uncoil the rest of this, and then I pulled it up more. Now the problem that I had is after that second pull I had a little bit remaining at the bottom. So I pulled it up a little bit more. This was my test with the sky winch to make sure that it worked properly. So then 10 days later, when I got the next chance to work on this, I go up, and which one do I pull up the rest of the way? Yeah, this one. Sorry, let's focus on the right thing here, camera. So then I pull this one all the way up. That's the one that you saw a video of me at the top. And then you saw me in the middle here. I was like, well, there's the pipe at the bottom and there's the pipe at the top. And I never did show you guys that, I didn't realize at the end of doing all that, that there was still a whole bunch of pipe down at the bottom here. So after that, I went back, still the same day, and I pulled this one up to, oh yeah, I pulled this one all the way to the top. And then I took this one and I guided it back down the hill. So now it's there, and I have a little bit of overlap, and I'm going to cut off the extra little bit of this green one, and that'll be extra pipe, spare pipe if I need it for anything. So that's what I did. That's a better explanation than anything that I could have shown you on the computer. And so this concludes this video. If you like it, hit that like button. I also appreciate, why do I keep looking away from the camera? I also appreciate comments and subscriptions, so hit that subscribe button. It makes me feel good. If only to make me feel good, do that. You can also check me out on Patreon and support me there. You can buy things on my Amazon wish list, or things for yourself even. Also, links in the description for that. And, you know, my Patreon supporters, I love you guys, but I hate having to praise you on the camera. So let me know if you guys like that or not. When I read out your names, it feels like I'm begging for money. I don't like begging for money. It just doesn't, it's not me. So, I don't know, let me know. I'll see you around. Like I tore my pants. Hold on. Suppose I should get some better footing first. Irritating. Really, I'm okay if I just stand up here.